Shiloh Sanders challenges sick Coach Prime to stun Ric Flair after big verdict. It's no secret that the Buffs boys are naturals when it comes to social media. After Deion Sanders Jr., Shiloh Sanders might just be following his brother's footsteps. He consistently updates his followers with behind-the-scenes updates. Recently, the NFL rookie has been building his reputation as a food enthusiast and has been making food tour vlogs on his channel. His latest stop was a Saturday morning brunch at Boulogne Brasserie in Tampa. But this time it wasn't just about the food. As Shiloh navigated the menu, he went out of his way to point out his standouts, telling why each dish was a favorite of his. He joked about being addicted to the must-try blue crab beignets, which were crispy and fluffy with a spicy remoulade. The Caesar salad was simple and classic, just the way he liked it. But the real surprise awaited him after lunch. As Shiloh was wrapping up his meal and interacting with guests and locals, he had an unexpected encounter with the wrestling legend Ric Flair. But Shiloh wasn't recognized by Ric. "I'm so embarrassed to admit I didn't know who you were, 'cause I haven't seen you," Ric says. But soon the two bonded over their infectious energy. Ric stated, "His dad and I have been friends for years." Shiloh also referred to himself as Ric's black cousin's son. As the two carried on with their conversation, Ric Flair suddenly hit a wrestling pose. It was the iconic walk he did during his entrances. The entrance is a signature move of the Nature Boy, perfectly capturing Ric's larger-than-life persona. Shiloh playfully said, "You still got it, though. You might beat Coach Prime." The teasing continued as Shiloh and Ric exchanged phone numbers. "We gotta trade numbers, man," Ric said. Shiloh even volunteered to assist Ric with his phone, as he did for his dad. The entire encounter was a mix of humor, warmth, and authentic connection, as the two men enjoyed the experience and each other's company. When Shiloh and Ric conclude their chat, you can hear the laughter ringing out across the restaurant. Now with Ric Flair in his corner, Shiloh's day has improved from good to priceless. Ric Flair's bold verdict on Shiloh. Flair didn't stop at brunch. After their meetup, Ric took to Instagram to praise Shiloh. He wrote, "For a man that can have an ego bigger than God, you are the most handsome and nicest man I have ever met in my entire life." At Shiloh Sanders, the son of Deion Sanders, "Thank you for the couple of hours we had together. In my mind in Tampa right now, Tom Brady is gone, so you are absolutely the man." Well, Ric's post reflected quintessential Nature Boy's enthusiasm. Always over the top, but never not genuine. That final line, equating Shiloh with legendary quarterback Tom Brady, was the kind of brash declaration only Ric Flair could issue and pull off. Shiloh, newly signed as an undrafted free agent by the Buccaneers, is attempting to make it big in the league. The post became a viral sensation, with fans and media abuzz regarding the odd couple friendship. For Ric, it was an opportunity to pass the torch, if not in reality, then at least in spirit, to a young man he truly respects. Brian Daboll on hot seat as Giants HC left with no excuses after Russell Wilson's signing. Report, there was a buzz in 2022 when Brian Daboll took over the Giants. He flipped the script, leading them to a surprising playoff berth with a feel-good 9-7-1 finish after years in the wilderness. Analysts praised his quarterback coaching chops and tough love culture, building momentum on the backs of Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. It felt like Daboll had crafted something special, a foundation the Giants hadn't had in ages. But then, 2 seasons of struggles, a 6-11 finish in 2023, followed by a franchise-worst 3-14 in 2024. Jones hit the wall. Injuries, turnovers, and a stagnant offense that never recovered. Daboll's QB guru reputation took a hit as the team stumbled through offensive line meltdowns and locker room frustration. A head coach who has a reputation for working with top-tier quarterbacks throughout his career? It's a rough patch for him, without any doubt. And now with a new signal caller room and huge expectations, this season is definitely going to be a make or break. At least that's what the Giants legend Rashad Jennings believes. Jennings' point? Well, according to him, the Giants brought in Daboll, given that he has worked with some top-tier quarterbacks, both in the NFL and in college football. There is a lack of lust at the quarterback position with the Giants, and that's one of the reasons why he brought him, Daboll, in, Jennings said. During his time as the offensive coordinator of Alabama, Daboll worked with Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts. To spice things up, the head coach worked with Josh Allen as well when he served as the OC of the Bills. and Jennings believes that Dable was supposed to be the guy to run the quarterback position in New York. He worked with Tua Tagovailoa when he was in Bama. He worked with Jalen Hurts when he was in Bama. He worked with Josh Allen, as we know, when he was in Buffalo. He had a cup of tea behind working with Brett Favre. So he's worked with a caliber of great quarterbacks in the NFL, and bringing him over, there was no doubt that he was going to be the guy to make that position run, Jennings added. Noted. But despite that, things didn't work out well with Daniel Jones. Just one standout season in his first year as the head coach, and then everything went south, and now even Jones is not with the Giants, as the New York team had a quarterback room shuffle. Speaking of which, the Big Blue has now brought a couple of veteran quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, to give Dable an opportunity. And that means only one thing. It's going to be a must-win season for Dable. Brian Dable to endure a must-win season with Russell Wilson. The Giants didn't stay quiet this offseason when it came to fixing their quarterback room. They flirted with Aaron Rodgers in free agency. They were ready to throw big money at Matthew Stafford and even stirred up the headlines heading into the draft. In the end, Brian Dable and company landed on a different duo, Wilson and Winston. Maybe not flashy, but definitely bold. However, Jennings laid out everything plainly and simply that the Giants gave Dable an opportunity by bringing these two veterans. Well, it didn't work out with Daniel Jones. Jennings continued in his argument. I think now they gave him an opportunity with bringing in two veterans in a Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston to be able to produce. So I think it is a must-win for him right this second. The Giants didn't stay quiet this offseason when it came to fixing their quarterback room. They flirted with Aaron Rodgers in free agency. They were ready to throw big money at Matthew Stafford and even stirred up the headlines heading into the draft. In the end, Brian Dable and company landed on a different duo, Wilson and Winston. Maybe not flashy, but definitely bold. However, Jennings laid out everything plainly and simply that the Giants gave Dable an opportunity by bringing these two veterans. Well, it didn't work out with Daniel Jones. Jennings continued in his argument. I think now they gave him an opportunity with bringing in two veterans in a Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston to be able to produce. So I think it is a must-win for him right this second. Winston appeared in 12 games, started 7. In those 7 starts, he was already down to 2-5 by the time the 2024 season ended. And now, if we round all that up, then it's safe to say that it's not just a must-win season for Brian Dable. In fact, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston are on the hot seat as well.